And then we see what you might do on how gracious. How gracious, beloved, your presence within. I think if you did a faster, like a rolling kind of thing underneath it. How gracious, beloved, your presence within me. Really good. How beautiful your song in my soul. How gracious, beloved, your presence within me. How beautiful your song in my soul. How joyous, beloved, my presence within you, embracing all others in my soul. In my soul, in my soul. All right. Yeah, I like that. Oh my gosh, it's... What? Where's Santisha?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity, and welcome everyone on live stream to Unity this morning. We just want to invite you to come into the presence of the room that you're sitting in right now, and recognizing that this is an hour to connect with our higher consciousness and let go of what's going on in the world, leave it outside the room, and just let this be a time of just sitting in the womb of spirit and connecting with that which needs to be healed, that which needs to be seen, that which needs to be honored. And we do that by starting with chanting, and to sing, they say, is to pray twice, so we encourage you to sing with us, or just close your eyes and bask in this beautiful affirmative music. Norman and I will be the call, and Louie and Larry will be the response.
And hopefully you.
Yes. It's a little slower than that. Golden light in the candle flame.
Golden light in the candle flame.
Deep in you, I feel the same.
Deep in you, I feel the same.
Open to the holy, holy stillness.
Open to the holy, holy stillness.
God is love, loving, beloved.
God is love, loving, beloved.
Beloved, 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 beloved. Ishkala mabulila.
Inshallah, Mabulila.
Spirit, spirit of ecstasy.
Spirit, spirit of ecstasy.
We are one with beloved.
We are one with beloved.
Beloved, beloved, beloved,
Ecstasy.
Spirit of ecstasy.
We are one with beloved.
We are one with beloved.
Beloved.
Spirit of ecstasy.
We are one with beloved.
We are one with beloved.
Beloved. Beloved. Beloved. Beloved. Beloved, beloved, beloved,
Good morning, everyone. I'll just share a few announcements. We are open for business in the physical building, Unity of Boulder. And we have permission so far to seat 72 people according to the size and the abilities we have to keep people in social distance. We'd like to see more people turning out in this physical sense and joining us in the service, because it's a lot more effective to be closer to one another, even though we still have the social distancing, but being together and sharing the same consciousness is a very healing experience, and it's very necessary for healing the rest of the world. And as you know, we still are carrying on the rest of our ministry the way we always did. We had the same expenses just about. So I ask you that are tuning in to be aware of that and to make a reasonable donation if you can. It's appreciated. We can continue to do the ministry that we do here at Unity of Boulder. Well, on the limited levels of awareness, people are in a funk about all that seems to be going wrong in the world today. But there was a moment yesterday, a bright moment of inspiration. With all the sporting events that have been postponed and canceled, one event they would not allow to be canceled. And so they held the hot dog eating contest yesterday. They made all the necessary preparations, separating the athletes from one another in these plastic partitions, 6 feet apart. So they went through a lot of hoops in order to pull this off. And so it's a moment of inspiration for where we're headed in the human race. I should mention that the fellow that won the contest has won it the last 13 out of 14 years. He ate 75 hot dogs in 7 minutes. It might be a new world record, but I wouldn't want to be the person driving home with him in the car. So you came for a spiritual message. I may not be able to help you today. You know, last week, I actually did not get into the body of my talk last week, as I mentioned at the end of the talk, because God went off on a tangent. And what have you got up here? Is that tea?
Yeah, drink that tea.
Okay. I will if it comes back. That's my wife, by the way. It's not like I'm hearing voices. She's asking me to drink her tea, which is up here. But I didn't get to the body of my talk, and people have called up last week asking me to fill them in on what I was going to say. And so I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to fill you in on the full body of that talk that I gave last week, which was about spiritual healing. And I started that talk mentioning a movie that I had seen about a 14-year-old boy that falls through the ice in this lake and drowns. And he's underwater for 10 to 15 minutes before they can get his body out. They cannot resuscitate him. They do everything they can. They give him shots and everything all the way to the hospital. And they get to the hospital and the doctors use all of their mojo to try to get a pulse from him. They can't get it. They use the shock treatments and everything to the heart. Nothing. So this young boy is dead for about 25 or 30 minutes, and the doctors have to throw up their hands. They can't do anything. And they walk out of the emergency room. But the mother has gotten to the hospital by this time. She wants to go inside and see her son. And she goes inside and gives a fervent prayer. It's on a fundamental level of Christianity. She gives a fervent prayer to Jesus to bring life back into her son. And believe me, her acting in this movie is beyond. So, all of a sudden, the pulse comes back. The young boy's got a pulse, but the doctors come back in and they're doing everything they can to bring him along. They know that he's really still in deep stuff. They have to give him medications to keep his heart going and stuff. So they don't have very much hope that he's going to live through the night. As it turns out, he lives for 3 days, and they have him on all of this, these respirators and these drugs and the stuff. They've incubated him to keep his brain from swelling. And anyway, it gets to the point where all of this equipment and resuscitation process, the mother just says, let's take him off of the all of these devices tomorrow morning. The doctors don't want to do it, but they're telling her, he probably doesn't have a chance. But they take him off of those devices, and so it was in 3 days. He comes back. Not only that, he doesn't even have any brain damage or anything. He can speak and everything else. It's an amazing movie because it's documented by the doctors that this actually happened this way. Beyond everything they know about medicine and life as they know it. Not there. Okay. The name of that movie is Breakthrough, if you're interested. And then I went on to say that in the early days of my journey, I was keenly interested in spiritual healing as it was demonstrated by individuals. And there was a number of them demonstrating it. And among them was Edgar Casey, Joel Goldsmith, Phineas Quimby, who had long passed while I was on the journey. He had long passed, but he's one of the most interesting characters you could ever think about. This guy was able to talk people out of their illness. They would show up and he would sick, ill, with disease, suffering, on the verge of death. He'd talk them out of it. Just talk them out of it. So he had a unique technique, and so did Edgar Casey, and so did Joel Goldsmith. Joel Goldsmith, people have said of him that it was not possible to be sick in his presence. If you had a particular ailment, if you came into his presence, he so believed in wholeness that his belief overran yours, so that because you're all one in the spirit, he was able to keep you from holding the negative idea of being sick. So you're in his presence, you weren't sick, and people could leave his presence and get sick again, but they weren't sick when they were in his presence. So it was interesting stuff to me, and I got into researching it, read about it, got involved in it myself, and have been involved in that understanding throughout my ministry. And unity itself is based on spiritual healing, because the two founders experienced spiritual healing. I don't want to go into that because I'll never get it. Again, I won't get into the body of this talk. So I want to go on from there to say, the one factor that these healers seem to have in common, the only factor they seem to have in common, was the fact of their unshakable belief in the omnipresence of God, that this intelligence we refer to of God is not separate in any way from us. So they believed in the presence of God here and now, and that presence was in everyone around them. So that's what they were accessing, that's what they believed in. In short, they were believing in what A Course in Miracles refers to as the at-one-ment, or oneness. So A Course in Miracles is all about helping people open their awareness to this omnipresence of God, not just talking theologically about being God omnipresent, but recognizing the presence of God in every person, in every place, in every condition of your life. And that's the journey we're on, by the way, whether you know it or not. Even those people who claim to be atheists, they're on that journey because their suffering is still their teacher. But let me share this first PowerPoint with you. Sri Ramanahana, see for yourself if the statement, all is one, is conducive to good or evil. As far as it is true that only that person can be righteous who regards himself the same as he regards others, and regards others the same as he regards himself, how can any evil attach itself to him who knows himself to be others and others be himself? This is another way. This is from the Eastern understanding of oneness. And what they are saying is all righteousness actually evolves with the understanding of oneness. So I'll just share it with you again very quickly. See for yourself if the statement, all is one, is conducive to good or evil. As far as it is true that only that person can be righteous who regards himself the same as he regards others, and regards others the same as he regards himself, how can any evil attach itself to him who knows himself to be others and the others be himself? This quote is expressly about healing the mind of separation. You see that? This quote is exclusively about healing the mind of separation, which may or may not translate to the physical body. Because as I said, I've been involved in this for many, many years. And I have been involved in spiritual healing. I've been involved in healing with people with prayer and meditation. And I've had lots of reports, aside from my personal experience with people, of people being healed by the things we share in unity in our services. So I wish I could just say that's the ultimate. But I have, over the years, also had people that did not get healed, and who were healed momentarily, but then lost it. And so I've had people actually not be healed, and had people actually die who were healed for a while. Interesting things take place. During healing process and healing procedure with a young lady that had cancer, we healed her completely. Stage 4 cancer on her way out. 5 years later, she died of cancer. She was free for 5 years. Another gentleman was healed in his hospital bed who gave him up, called the family in and said he's going to die this week. We got him out of bed. He left the hospital. And then kept calling me, and I kept working with him. And he eventually needed me to be talking him through the healing ideal. And I think I went away on vacation for about 3 weeks, and he wasn't able to get through with me, and he died. And believe me, it's not that I've seen this happen without me. I've seen people healed at the Wednesday meditation. It had nothing to do with me. I've seen people healed at Sunday services, not my services, other people's services. So the jury is out on this, whether or not coming into this healing of the mind, of its illusion of separation, actually translates into a physical healing as well. I can't testify to that, absolutely. So I just want that to be out there for you. The ego-centered mind is not capable of accepting, this truth of oneness. I can give you lots of experiences. Some of them will be in my book. But in this way, I would teach, years and years ago, I used to teach A Course in Miracles. And in teaching it, I recognized that about over half the people would leave that course before it was over. They couldn't handle it. In one particular occasion, while teaching it, I had groups of people in the area, and this was a different fellowship hall, but it was still a large fellowship hall. I had different groups discussing what we had gone through that day, and one guy jumped up and said, "I hate the Course in Miracles. I absolutely hate the Course in Miracles." And I was at the other end of the room in another group, and I jumped up and I shouted back at him, "Why?" And some girl, fortunately, had her phone on. She was recording the group session. She had her phone on. I'm going to give to you verbatim the word for word back and forth between me and this guy that jumped up and said, "I hate the Course in Miracles," who I shouted, "Why?" And he shouted back, "Because it states over and over again that I have to accept everyone just as he or she is, to look past the mean and deceitful things people do in order to free myself from the deceit in my own mind. I'm not mean and deceitful. The Course in Miracles is stupid." I shouted back, "Never say that again as long as you live." He shouted, "Why?" I shouted, "Because it's a book about God and you're committing blasphemy. Something bad could happen to you." He shouts, "Like what?" I shout, "You could get a flat tire or athlete's foot." He shouts, "Are you threatening me?" I shout back, "Are you inferring that I have the power to declare who does and who doesn't get athlete's foot?" He jumps up on a chair and shouts, "I want my money back for this class. I want the money I paid refunded." I run across the room and kick the chair out from under him, shouting, "That's never going to happen. I've already spent the class money on new seat covers for my car." He's on the floor now and shouts up at me, "I want those seat covers." you could check your level of gullibility. At what point in that did you actually check out and realize this couldn't possibly have happened? But no, I did have, on occasion, I've had this happen a number of times. I did have a young person in the Course in Miracles class jump up and make that exact statement, you know, that how am I to accept everyone as they are? You know, of course, it's asked me to accept everyone as they are, in spite of their, you know, their attitudes and what they do and the deceitful things they do. And the fact of the matter is, that is exactly what A Course in Miracles is stating that we must do in order to enter this state of true connection with reality. That we're all part of a greater intelligence, and that we have to allow that intelligence to purify our personal perception of things. And it's only in the personal perception of things that we have judgment that is limited. And so if you talk about different healers who are able to hold that awareness of God in every moment, that you couldn't bring limitation into their experience, this is what it's asking us to do, not hold or give into limited or negative thoughts. Again, are you kidding me? How much time have I given here for this talk? I hate to do this to you. I know.
Okay, I'll just...
No, just... Go ahead. All right.
No, just keep going. I'll do a real short version of it.
Okay. I can't believe it. What am I did we decide on 20
I
minutes?
think you need a little clock that you can time it.
It's not a clock. It's a matter of the information that I want to get out is like, can I get it out? And is it 20 minutes that I have? Just 20 minutes? Even with my understanding of the oneness, I can't heal this. Okay, so I'm going to get to the specifics here. So most people have truth with accepting the idea of, which is non-judgment totally, accepting people as they are. Can we have that? This is the master of masters. I'll use his video. Can we have the video of Eckhart Tolle, who is a modern day master? I've got everybody running and jumping. Mike is down here working cameras. Now he's got to jump upstairs and get the video on. Okay. So I'll go on to say, such is our shared identity that we have so long lived in the ego-centered definition of self in the physical body, that we hold the physical to be all of life. And it is the most important part of life. And so on this journey through our understanding in our consciousness, on this journey at some point, we transcend the personal holding that strong place in our awareness, so that we're always looking to try to heal the body. When A Course in Miracles says to us, heal the mind. Heal your mind in every moment. Be mindful enough to live in wholeness and watch what happens on every level. So do we have that video ready to go? Yep. Okay.
Something is still missing in my life. Something is still not right. And then you try other relationships, and you try other places to live, and you try other activities, and sooner or later, and usually sooner, you come again to the place. This isn't right either. And then you ask, what am I really meant to do? Where am I really meant to be? Because it's not here. It's never here, ultimately. Because you're not at home deep enough in the now, so you can never feel, this is never it. So, but there's no external solution to that. There's only an inner solution to that. you come home to the now, and you have to drop down beyond the mental emotional accumulations that you confuse with who you are, and you sense, as I sometimes say, the ripple on the surface of the Pacific Ocean stops thinking of itself as a ripple and senses its own depths. And suddenly the ripple feels at one with the depths of the ocean, but also feels at one with every other ripple that it sees on the surface of the ocean, because it senses its connectedness with the totality, with the one, and therefore recognizes every other ripple as also being an expression of that. And then for the first time it can become comfortable with other ripples, really at ease. The ripples, of course, in our analogy are people.
Okay, we're going to conclude it there. I gave a yoga to use last week. I hope you people were here last week. You still have that yoga from A Course in Miracles. That will suffice. It's better to practice the meditation than to talk about it. If you don't have a particular meditation technique while you're listening to the bowls, just relax, let yourself go into the awareness that everything is moving toward this reality of oneness. And if you don't have a particular meditation technique, you can use this particular idea to just gently keep focusing your mind. When we go into the silence, just keep bringing your mind into this idea. Having no imagined separate self with no imagined needs. Only love is given. Only love received. As we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space, let us go forth with a greater determination to practice the presence of God in every situation, to be awake and aware that peace is healing and establishes harmony and wholeness in mind and body. And for the opportunity to practice peace in every situation, we give thanks. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. Again, just let me say that we're not going to be passing an offering bag, but we have an offering basket in the lobby, so as you go out on the exit, you can take your offering and drop it in there. But right now, you can take your offering in hand, and those of you that are watching this online, you can take it in your mind how much you want to donate to the work that we do, the truth that we share in this world that so desperately needs this truth. So as you take your offering in your hand, know that's what we are about, the evolution of human consciousness. And we take this offering in our hands and bless it in this way. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give. So I'll say that again. You can say it with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give. Amen. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us. Spread the word, share the truth.